As we spoke before, I'm Andy Rawll, right for
Yeah.
MetalTalk, and you are Kee. Let me ask you up front. I guess because the name, it sounds kind of exotic and Italian. Is it Marcello
Yeah.
or Marcello? I want to make sure I get it right.
I always gone with the Marcello, the more American way of pronouncing it. I guess it derives from me reading way too many Mario Puzo novels. You know, the guy that wrote Il Padrino, The Godfather.
Yes.
I did a lot of that back in the early 80s. So I was very inspired by that whole Sicilian Cosa Nostra thing. So Marcello is actually one of those families that moved over to New York. So I just picked that name. You know, back in the days, everybody picked a stage name. I guess you might have guessed that Joe Tempest isn't his real name either.
Yeah, it's funny that. I was thinking about Swedish names, Tempest. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really excellent. All right, so let's get started. The 9th of August is kind of a significant date because it's 30 years since the release of Out of This World. So I guess that's kind of the headline thing around you going back on tour. So I'd like to learn a little bit more about what we can expect on this tour, tying into this 30th anniversary.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still called the Scaling Up Tour. We're out promoting the most recent album, Scaling Up. But this time in the UK, we would like to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Out of This World by playing a lot of material from that album. It was a huge success, and it was my first studio album with Europe, and it sold over 3 million, and 1 million only in America, which was amazing. You know, a first effort in the band. And it's one of those albums that all the songs are really great, and still people don't get to hear them. It's because we played some of the material live with the band when I was in the band, but since they changed the lineup, they don't play a lot of those songs. And we're going to bring up the secret goodies from that album, songs like Sign of the Times, Coast to Coast, and many of those songs have never ever been played live. So it's going to be very cool to do it, to premiere it 30 years after.
Well, yeah, and I mean, looking back at the set you played in 2016, I mean, it was a great eclectic set that covered a lot of ground from all your career. But yeah, there's still, like you say, nuggets from that album that beg to be played live.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we really nailed it with that album, and it deserves to be recognized again, you know, as in an anniversary. So we're gonna. I've been online listening to fans and checking out what they would expect to hear. I'm gonna bring that into the mix and see what statistically we can, which ones are the most, except the singles, the most popular songs.
Yeah, and I guess you also have an opportunity to. Well, I guess there's kind of a compromise because you've got some great solo material going back to the Easy Action stuff. So it's going to be a tough choice of what to leave out.
It always is. But it's going to be some Easy Action. It's because the Talk of the Town, one of the biggest hits we had with the band, is a hit again. A Swedish-Italian singer re-recorded it. So it's a hit again. So we're actually playing it live, and it's a really good song. You know, one of those you didn't know that you know. So we're going to play that for sure. So it's going to still be sort of a mix of everything I've done, but this time we're concentrating on Out of This World and sort of garnishing with my solo stuff and Easy Action stuff.
And I mean, in the context of that time in your career, I mean, there was Prisoners in Paradise that followed, and I know that there was kind of the first version of the album, and then you had to go back and rewrite some stuff, and some of the outtakes I know that you played in the past. Are we going to be hearing any of those?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, on Scaling Up, I recorded for the first time 2 of those outtakes. Don't Know How to Love No More, and Wild Child, which was supposed to be on Prisoners in Paradise, but the label thought otherwise. They actually listened through. They had 4 people from 4 different branches in America coming to the studio, listening through the whole album, and then they said you have to redo it because people, A&R people, they look at stats, and according to stats, our biggest hit in their country was "Carrie," a ballad. So they said we simply want more ballads. There's always this war between the artist and the A&R, and we had to reach some sort of compromise. I'm still very proud of the Prisoners in Paradise album, but there's a lot of gems in those LeBaron Boys recordings, and I've picked 2 of them, which ones I like the best, Wild Child and Don't Know How to Love No More. We're going to be hearing some LeBaron Boys as well.
So have you ever had the thought of bringing out the Kee Marcello version of Seventh Sign, the full original album, for example?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thought crossed my mind because it sounds a bit different with today's production and all that, We'll see what the future will bring. But I'm going to spend the bigger part of the rest of this year and next year to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Out of This World and continuing on the Scaling Up tour.
That's great. So you've still got Ken in the band, who's been with you since early 2000s.
Oh yeah, we go way back. 2003, I think it was, we started. Yeah. So I would definitely, and he's going to stay in the band. And this time, Darby couldn't make it, but we have Tim Brown, who's another excellent drummer. A British drummer as well. He plays with Wishbone Ash.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think there are 2 different Wishbone Ashes out there, like so many other bands. Yeah. There are different versions of them. He plays with one of them.
Yeah, they're both pretty good, actually. I've seen both of them. They're slightly different, but they're both equally good.
Yeah, Tim is great. We played together. We did a couple of festivals and we went to India together. That was amazing. That was another tour that Darby couldn't do, and Ken couldn't either. So we put together an all-British band, and we went to play the Hornbill Festival in Nagaland in India. That was quite an adventure.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So are you just touring as a power trio, or do you have a second guitar with you now?
No, last time you saw us, I had a second guitar. But since we're doing Out of This World, I'm bringing a keyboard player. So I'm doing all the guitars and vocals, and we have an excellent keyboard player doing all those keyboards because there's a bunch of nice keyboards on that album. So we're 4. Yeah, it's a 4-piece. And actually, I did loads of shows with this guy. His name is P.O. Nielsen. His real name is a short for Pat Olof, but nobody can say that. So P.O. Nielsen, and he plays with Jolyn Turner and the guy from Toto, the singer, what's his name?
Kimball.
Bobby Kimball and a lot of that stuff. And we've been doing a lot of shows. I do a show called Rock the Night, my own show. He's been in that, and he's a great keyboard player and background vocalist and everything. So it's going to be the 4 of us,
No,
Ken, Tim, P.O. and me.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah.
I've also read that you've got a live release coming out, Live from the Third Rock. Tell us a little bit about when that's coming out and what might be on that.
Oh yeah, it's actually recorded from a previous UK tour, and it hasn't been properly released yet, but we're getting to it right now. And that was an amazing gig at the Globe in Cardiff, Wales, that we recorded the entire gig. It was actually Darby Todd's first gig, which is amazing. He sounds like he's playing that show like 1,000 times. It's a really magic night at the Globe in Cardiff, and a really cool club gig, a live DVD. I can recommend it.
So is that sort of scaling up era, or go back to Judas Kiss?
No, this is it's not a scaling up on it, unfortunately. This is from 2015, but there's going to be a lot of soul album gems and some easy action and obviously some Europe on it as well.
Great stuff. And I also read that you did some work on stage in Rock of Ages, the Swedish version of Rock of Ages. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was amazing. I know this guy, Bosse Andersson. He's a musical producer. He does all the musicals, like Singing in the Rain and whatnot, Hair and all of those big productions in Stockholm, in Sweden. And he called me one day and he said, "I bet you're wondering why I'm calling you, Kee." And I said, "You bet I do," because I had no idea what he wanted. And he told me, "I want to keep an open mind. Tomorrow we're flying to London. We're going to see Rock of Ages on West End." So we did. The following morning we went to London, saw Rock of Ages, met the cast and everybody. It was amazing, really cool show. On the way back the day after on the airport, I told them that since the band in the West End version was in the back, in the dark, you couldn't really see them. I told them, this is not my gig. I'm not really one of those guys standing in the dark in the back. I'm more a front person.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
Yeah. And then he told me, no. We're going to write you a part of your own. Oh, really? This is a Broadway show. What part should I have? And they said, you're gonna be Kee Marcello. You're gonna play yourself. And I told them, is that even legal? I mean, this is this is a Broadway super big show. Don't worry about it. I speak to the guys. And later I met the guys, the Broadway guys. They came to the premiere in Stockholm, and they were really pleased about it because it sort of made sense.
Yeah.
It might sound crazy, but it sort of made sense in the end. To have a real rock star that everybody in Sweden knows in the musical. It was also a lot of fun, besides the playing and singing, to be able to get speaking lines and sort of act or whatever I did. I don't know what I did. I was on stage talking.
So were you kind of in the role that Tom Cruise plays in the movie?
No, I didn't do that. By the way, I met the guy who I shouldn't say that. I'm going to say it anyway. I met the guy that edited Tom Cruise's between citation marks vocals in the movie.
Yeah.
And it took every modern computer trick to make it sound like a human was singing. It took forever. Yeah.
But I think everyone kind of it's a bit of, it shows he has a sense of humour and he loves the music. So I think people forgive him for that because
absolutely.
The movies he makes.
He's amazing. He's always amazing. He's fantastic. One of my favorites. He's great.
So I mean, just thinking about that connection, have you ever sort of toyed with the idea of doing like instrumental stuff for movies or anything like that?
Well, I have a little bit. I did a couple of movie things, but it wasn't really for me. I mean, I went as far as to orchestrate stuff for orchestras and stuff like that. It's too time consuming for me since I'm not a great writer and reader in sheet music, and to be quite frank, it doesn't pay well enough. So I didn't think it was worth it. It's pretty much as producing albums nowadays. I mean, I produce hundreds of recordings, but nowadays nobody seems to be willing to pay me what I want, and then it's not worth it. I had so much more fun concentrating on my own projects instead. So that's why I quit producing.
Yeah, and you wrote your biography a few years ago. Any plans to update that, or what's going to be in the next chapter?
Well, the thing is, it never came out in English, so I'm working on the English version right now. I found the perfect translator for it. It's a guy from Chicago who's been living in Sweden for 25 years, so he speaks perfect Swedish. He's the guy to translate it. And we're going to add a couple of new chapters in it, obviously, from where I left off, and a couple of stories that I forgot at the time I wrote it, There's so many stories, so you easily forget a couple. But I'm expecting this to come out in Swedish beginning of next year.
And I know you're a thoroughbred musician, but I don't always believe what I read, but what is it about you and horses?
Oh, yeah. That's really weird. I'm sort of well known in Sweden, obviously, because of my career. And I often get offers to participate in reality shows.
Yeah.
And I rarely do them because most of them are so stupid. It's scary, But this one was so crazy I had to do it. It's actually, you know what harness racing is?
Yes.
Yeah. You sit in a trolley behind the horse,
Yes.
And it's really fast. And you have like a horse that weighs half a ton. And if you can't control it, it does whatever it wants. It's really dangerous. And they got a bunch of celebrities, Swedish celebrities, learning how to do this. And it turns out I won the whole thing. So quite surprisingly to me also, because I never had any contact with horses in the past. So I developed an interest, and I really liked the animals, and so I went to get a license. So now I'm a licensed horse harness racing driver, which is kind of a bit off from my daytime job.
That's completely crazy, man.
Yeah, but it's so much fun, man.
Yeah, so when's your next race?
I think it's going to be one later this fall, actually, in November.
So I'm just thinking maybe to warm up on rather than going on the tour bus, you're just going to be taken around the UK but on the 6 dates by a horse and a harness. Is that maybe a good idea?
That would be amazing. That would be a little bit like running, what's his name, the comedian running 22 marathons in 22 days.
That's right, Eddie Izzard, yeah.
Ed Izzard, yeah, I just read his book. Amazing. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually, to go on tour with a harness. Yeah, amazing promo, actually.
Yes, I'm looking at the tour date. It's a 6-date tour starting on the 11th of October to the 18th of October. But you're covering a lot of ground. You're going to need a few horses for that. England, Scotland, Wales, playing in London.
I know, yeah. I mean, if I had the time, as you can see, it's a pretty tight tour schedule. Well, we have a couple of days off there. Maybe I can go and visit some stables and meet some breeders.
Yeah,
I'm going to check into that. Yeah, why not? I have some contacts.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. Kee, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. We look forward to seeing you on the tour. We look forward to the DVD coming out as well.
Awesome, Andy.
He does of that tour. It's always a pleasure. And it's
pleasure is all mine.
The time is overdue, to revisit Out of This World. It is, as it says on the box, it's a great album.
Thanks, mate. Awesome. Hope to see you when I get over.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Okay. You take care. Cheers.